You walk into an Apple store with a phone that still works. The battery is weaker than before, and there's a tiny crack on the screen, but nothing serious. Still, you start convincing yourself that an upgrade is necessary. It's not a luxury, you tell yourself. It's a tool for productivity. So, without much hesitation, you spend $1,200 on the newest iPhone Pro Max. When you leave the store, you feel proud. You feel successful. But the moment you sit in your car, something changes. The new phone looks futuristic and flawless, and suddenly your old, worn out charging cable feels embarrassing. Plugging such a masterpiece into a cheap cable seems wrong. So, you buy a MagSafe charger, another $40. At home, you place the phone on your nightstand and notice your cheap plastic case. It looks ridiculous on a titanium device. You replace it with a leather case, plus $60. Then you realize your wired headphones don't fit anymore. To complete the experience, you buy AirPods Pro, that's another $250. In less than 2 days, your $1,200 purchase quietly turns into $1,600. And you barely notice how it happened. This isn't about being irresponsible with money. It's a psychological domino effect that has ruined more fortunes than stock market crashes. It explains why lottery winners often go bankrupt and why buying a dream house can become a financial nightmare. This phenomenon is called the Ditto Effect. My name is Dan, and on this channel we uncover the invisible patterns that keep people broke. Most people believe they buy things because they need them. Today, I'll prove something different. You buy things because your other possessions demand it. If you want to stop this spiral and keep more of your money, hit the like button and let's dive into the story of a man who lost everything because of a simple bathrobe. To understand why we can't stop spending money, we need to travel back to France in 1765. Meet Denis Ditto, a famous philosopher and co-founder of the encyclopedia. Despite his brilliance and reputation, he lived in poverty. His clothes were old, his furniture worn out, and his life modest. Yet he was content. Until one day, everything changed. Catherine the Great, the Empress of Russia, heard about his financial struggles. Being a fan of his work, she offered to buy his library for a huge sum, while allowing him to keep the books. Overnight, Ditto became wealthy. And like anyone else, he decided to treat himself. He bought an expensive scarlet robe, luxurious, elegant, and beautiful. When he put it on, he felt rich for the first time in his life. But soon something began to bother him. The robe was magnificent, but everything around him looked cheap in comparison. His desk seemed old and ugly, so he replaced it. Then the carpet looked outdated, so he bought a new one. The curtains looked poor, so he changed them. Step by step, he replaced everything he owned until his entire room matched the robe. Months later, he was poor again. Later, Ditto wrote a famous essay where he said, "I was the master of my old robe, but I became a slave to the new one." That is the essence of the Ditto effect. We think we own our possessions, but in reality, our possessions control us. Today, this effect is even stronger than it was centuries ago. Modern marketing is designed to trigger it. For example, imagine you decide to get fit. You buy an expensive exercise bike. Then you realize your old clothes don't match your new identity. You buy shoes, sportswear, accessories, and even redesign your room. In the end, you didn't just buy a bike. You bought a whole new identity. The same thing happens with cars, houses, clothes, and gadgets. One expensive purchase becomes an anchor that forces you to upgrade everything else. You're not spending money because you want to. You're spending money because your identity demands consistency. That's why fake it till you make it is financially dangerous. So how do we escape this trap? First, always calculate the full chain reaction cost before buying anything expensive. Second, follow the buy one, remove one rule. Third, practice strategic downgrading. Sometimes simpler things give you more freedom than luxury. A low-maintenance identity is the most profitable asset you can have. There's nothing wrong with nice things. But you must understand the game you're playing. One purchase rarely makes your life complete. It usually resets the board and forces you to start spending again. Don't become a slave to your possessions. Be the master of your life. If this story made you rethink your spending, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. More smart financial insights are coming.